Hey, good morning. A little technical issue there with the stream thing to fix. All right, so a little reversal and gap up here. Really shallow pullback. I don't like it. Um, just historically, this is a bad setup. Maybe the market is so intent on going higher that it'll work out. I think more likely there'll be some jiggles here. I don't think it'll clear this high today. All right, we'll see what plays out. But it's so close to this 4 bar consolidation that to buy it above here, your resistance is right in your face. And the only place to put a stop, because you don't know if it breaks, how low it'll go, even though we originally thought it would come down toward the 20, give or take. Um, it's just historically a bad setup. Um, but if you're going to do it, there are ways to do it based on other money management strategies, which would incorporate smaller positions and larger stops to see, how that plays out. Uh, just generally a bad would be considered a buy setup of just an uptrend and a little pullback. Pullbacks like this, something more like this, and retracements, further. So don't like it. You can see it's already gapping up into the resistance there. You can see where the cursor is. What we would want to see is it go sideways for a while there. And then we'll see if it can go higher. And I'm just looking again where that's at. And yeah, maybe it gets right up here and then starts pulling back again. But you ain't going to do anything at the open to buying this at a gap into resistance. That's just would be foolish to do that. Anyway, is what it is. S&Ps, just topping tail, rejection at the bottom. It's indecision. Excuse me. So overall, it's not bad. I mean, the price action here, because what you do is if you visualize this, what you see is it's essentially a little square that's potentially building support, but we don't know which way it's going to go. You've got, the tail there, you've got the tail there. So sellers up above, buyers down below. You can see the hourly chart where, things are at. They're up against that pivot there. And, so far consolidating after the power bar. So it's okay, but an entry today for me doesn't make any sense because the next stop is right up above. If it can get up there, okay, you know what? It's building that support. Remember, our discussion yesterday was that, okay, if this is truly bullish, now that it's violating this, it's going to go down. And the idea was it's going to go down here. And that's where it went. Came back up. And now, you've got the pivot, higher pivot, higher pivot. Got all this resistance up there. You've got a little trading range going on. And maybe it could resolve itself. I just don't think it's going to do it today. We'll see how it plays out. Where does this day end? Does it end here? Still just sideways, and we go into next week, looking like it's built a shelf here that it could get over. And going into next week, typically the days before and after the holiday are bullish. So that as long as this doesn't break lower, I mean, I do think that could play out, and maybe eventually we do get that destination level up here, but I think that'll play out for next week. Clear this all up. And I think today is some kind of options, right? It's an option expiration. Friday, something's going on here. Well, the way this thing is sorted in TC 2000, which on the 22nd, I don't know, it's like confusing, but I'm looking at these quotes here. Anyway, if you're going to do anything on SPX, I don't see that there's premium there, but I'd want to be somewhere up here around 40, 50. And definitely down below 3,900. Up near these tails, either way. Good morning. Good morning. Pull back to 8 SMA. Maybe, Jamil. I don't know. I don't have an 8 SMA, so if it's lined up there, so be it. I guess so. Maybe that pulled back into there like that. But you can see support, resistance. It's at this pivot with a deep retracement. It's stalled there for the moment. YM led the way up. This thing to fill in here. I'll up with my connection here, or e-signal. It's taking too long. That's trending up. It's just begun to stall here. You see the hourly chart. It's just in the trading range. It's showing a little strength. It did clear these pivots here, so I wouldn't bet against it going higher until it reaches these other pivots, and then we see what it's made out of. And here we go. Just again, it's a mess. But the same story, up, and it's just going sideways with tails on the top and a tail here. Right? That's the tails and the tail, and just overall, just put a line through the mess, and it looks like it's heading up toward the top of the range there. And I assume there's going to be sellers there again, and we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Clear all that. And a similar pattern here. Here. Right, we had that slowing momentum, right? So here's power. Right? How do we recognize power? There's no pivot. It was just a little consolidation there, right? 4 o'clock in the morning if you were up. There's a continuation pattern. So that's power. That says, hey, this thing should go higher. And by the pullback. Well, that was resistance, support, decent power. And this is, I guess we'd call it a bull flag kind of scenario. And then, the pivot highs start getting closer together and the pivot lows, sideways price action. It reaches this area up here, and so maybe it can push higher, up into that larger area of overhead resistance. It always comes to looking to the left. Power bar, sideways, upward rejection, downward rejection, neutral. So not bad, not bad, not good. I mean, as far as, an opportunity right here for, taking a position. But I think if it can hold up here, it starts looking better for next week. And look, semiconductors did great yesterday. I mean, they were leading the pack on the way up. It's taking so long here today. Anyway, I don't want to wait too long. Clearly something up. I got a Gibby connection. I don't know. It could be the VPN. I don't know. Anyway, We'll move on and see what it'll connect here. I never switch to trade station. That's a resource hog, and it's just built by people that need complexity to fulfill them. This platform works like if you right click stuff, you go, if you know Windows, you know how to navigate this platform. The only thing this company did, I know, this company really screwed up years ago and didn't become a brokerage firm. They truly did. I mean, it's a popular firm platform. I don't think so much with retail traders. I mean, I started using it many years ago because we were switching from Realtic, which didn't happen, but I got used to it from Realtic, and you know, I think a lot more people would use it if they were a brokerage firm because, hey, you go to these different brokers and you get the platform for free versus this, you got to connect it to somebody. Anyways, you can see I've got some connection problem here and I don't want to start messing with it, but Bitcoin's just doing nothing here. It's consolidating down at the bottom. It's just a giant mess and it's getting tighter. So watch to see what that does next week. Silver, pulling in a little bit. I'm sorry, I can't get these charts to connect. But, if I disconnect this VPN, it's probably that might be the culprit. It might disconnect me from Zoom. I'm gonna do it anyway. Yeah, McGraw, I said, you know what? I don't think it's going to work out today for that. I wanted to be above those tails. This thing is just reconnecting now. Above and below the tails. Definitely got to be above 4,000. You want to be above here and or below 3,900. I mean, since this is gapping up to this level, I guess could be a little bit above 3,900. It would be okay, but here's your resistance and here's your support. You just got a trading range going on here. So I think prices are just going to stay, within these ups and downs. If there's juice at 40.50, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Not, yeah, I didn't think so. Last I looked, I didn't think so. It's getting tighter. So, you see, yesterday when I said the downside was a no-brainer, markets are gapping down, and option traders, institutions go and get that downside protection, and that just put the floor there. And odds are it wasn't going to get down there because it was too far away, and it was like a no-brainer. So, all right, looks like this connection is better. Yeah, so this is doing nothing. Pulled back a little further. It's at that same pivot that formed, there yesterday. So, move down creates the void above. So in the green room yesterday, there was a point in the latter part of the day where the markets looked like they could drop, and there was a little consolidation. I said, I don't like to expect it to go down much because there was no range expansion attempt to go up. It was all tight bars and it didn't work out. So when you see a drop like this, you want to see those rejections, with a little bit of a range expansion, not all narrow bars. All little narrow bars like that, they look attractive because you got a tight stop. Most of the time it just nails you. So this tells you the upside. They played the breakout and got caught. And that typically is what is the setup that'll drive it lower. Right. So now this is up at this pivot high. And if it can go sideways here, maybe it can get back up to the top of the range. We'll see. Right. I think today's going to be a mess. That Bitcoin, this is kind of like some kind of angle that's going on here, where the sellers coming in a little more aggressive from the highs, and the buyers are there, and it's called sometimes the spring is winding up. Yeah. Nothing's happening much. The dollar is kind of down a little bit, right? You can see kind of unchanged, but kind of looks like it's got to go down here. And if it does, that leads to, hey, if today does nothing and it drops next week, we get that bullish move into the holiday, which would be perfect to playing out, and dollar coming down to the major support level. Markets go up, S&P goes up to 4,100, Qs, wherever they're going to go, we'll see. We would think they're going to clear this high, and we'll see how high it goes. The nemesis, the semiconductors all year, they had that really nice move, and they're gapping up a little today, but the same story. And if they can hold on here and build a little support level, maybe can get through this 200. But these led the way up on the gap down yesterday, and they held on to their gain for the most part. Yeah. So that looks good. 10-year, not doing much. Maybe it can come down to this support. We talked at the beginning of the week, 10-year comes down, dollar comes down, markets go up, things start to reverse, corrective price action. This tells us the Fed ain't backing off. Maybe it's going to be 50 instead of 3/4. It's just hanging here. But, and lastly, I'm going to leave you with what we looked at yesterday, which now the news is starting to talk about, because how could they not? It's in their face. 3 versus the 30, inverted. Right? 3 versus the 10, right? Seriously inverted. So can the markets ignore that for now? Yes. Yeah, because they typically don't react to this so quickly. They take notice of it. And, right now, what we need to see, as I already mentioned, is that dollar continuing to decline and the 10-year to decline, and the markets should rise from there. But we'll see how it unfolds today. All yours, Dan. You see more risk to call? Is that call spread side, Rob? I think today could be okay for an iron condor, because I don't think today's going to do much of anything. Is there enough premium to get to those levels?
Good morning. Yesterday, a couple of things on these news. Bullard came out and jawboning. Hey, market, you need a reality dose. We're going to be raising rates more than you think, and we close flat. So that's news. Something that doesn't react bearish to bearish news is bullish. This big bar here was with a 40-something year high bad CPI or PPI, whatever the heck it was. And then this gap up was another favorable one. And so the market, this was the start of the markets, playing the Fed's hand, saying it doesn't believe them. So that's what yesterday's action and today's gap up is telling me, that they don't believe Bullard's jawboning. Now, that flies in the face of don't fight the Fed. So, I'm not going to do anything different other than following our approach on multiple time frames. But I always take note of something that should have happened. And if everyone still is thinking, or the markets are going to new lows, I'm a contrarian if supported by reality, which is objective data. And I was prepared to buy the Qs today over yesterday's high, but the gap's messing it up now. Where you see these overlapping bars go to an hourly chart, and it's going to be resistance. So the gap's messing me up. but I'm still short-term, I'm bullish because I got bullish weeklies with a price void. And then a second thing is Bitcoin. Um, with this FTX thing, they're comparing it to Lehman and, Madoff, whatever. And yes, they crashed, they did crash, but I'm kind of shocked they're holding up this well. There have to be more cockroaches. The cockroach theory. I know they've talked about Binance and, I think and somebody else filing bankruptcy, but it's not, I don't know. I think this is going to play out where we can play it up or down. But the weekly and monthly sure suggest down on Bitcoin. And I hope it goes down, and then they'll probably, drag the markets lower too. All right, last night we only did one earnings trade, Ross. We did the 88s down here at the 200 MA, and I just sent an alert out saying, just let it expire worthless. Many times I say bid, a penny or 2 or 5 to get out, but today's expiration day and it's so far away. Yeah, I don't even want to pay a penny. But if you want zero assignment risk, then close it at a penny. Like we did Cisco. Cisco, I closed at a penny yesterday on an earnings trade because it had overnight, at least one night. I also did, I did Foot Locker, the 26s. And wow, that's a monster gap up. And I also personally did, which I didn't give, WSM, I did the 110s. It's gapping down here, but I'm still $7 away on 0 DTE. So I guarantee you I have an open profit at the open. So I'm gonna try to close that probably for a dime. This is what I'm bidding. All right, Blink. This is what I call a potential bottom. It's the start of one. But I like the weekly here too, as a Climo, breakdown failure, range expansion, price void. So it's the start. I mean, you all know that sometimes I watch things for a week or 2 or 3 before they set up, but I only do that if I think it's worth the effort to watch it. Many times you hear me say, I'm just deleting it. I got too much stuff to watch as it is. So here's another one I'm going to watch. XPEV. Down a lot. EV market. That's a nasty, nasty sell-off. Pick up in volume. Failed to, it actually made a higher high, higher low. Momentum slowing. 20 MA flattening out. It's a watch. It's a bottoming pattern watch. GME, I just noticed here, gapping up from a bottoming pattern. So I'm gonna try to sell out of the money, like $26 puts for next week. AMC here, a little buy setup, made a higher high, breakdown failure. Let's watch that for a long. Looks good. I'm gonna put that in a window. Alex, your Vietnam ETF here, bottoming patterns, gapping over the entry, but look at that. It's a Climo on the weekly. I like the volume. So that's a long watch. Look at the volume here, and it's not going lower. Well, it did go lower and snapped right back. So, people who think technical analysis doesn't work is they're just got their hand in the hole. It works. It tried to go lower on volume and demand exceeded supply and it broke out. You can't deny that it don't work. The market's telling us where a good valuation is for this thing. Let's see, Ed on YouTube asking, is peak margin? Well, here's what Ed is asking. I have no idea. But yeah, there's major, I heard major leverage problems. I heard that they were giving 125 leverage. And you know what? I used to co-own a proprietary trading firm in Charlotte, and we had portfolio margin. With portfolio margin putting up over $5 million, we only got 7.7%. Wait, that's not right. No, we got 7 times, whatever it was. It was more than, yeah. Day trading is 4 to 1, and we got up to 20 to 1 intraday. So these clowns are not even professionals, and they're giving them 125 to 1. Are you serious? That's nuts. Nuts. All right, so wow. Now that you see it on the chart, you know what? If anybody shorted call options into that, they are getting smoked, because that, I don't even need to look. That is blowing away the expected move. FedEx here, I got in a thumbnail. That's on my long list. Little buy setup after a breakout, 30-minute high. Let's buy this. Q's coming in the hardest right now. Looking at all the fangs. All the fangs are coming in hard. Meta leading the downside with the nastiest 5-minute bar right here, or 15, whatever. So we knew we were going to do nothing at the open. Home Depot, we're already short puts. Oh, I got out of my WSM for a nickel. No, that's not true. It must have been another bill. Wow, WSM puts are not even open yet. What a friggin' jerk. I mean, that's a negative. The market's, the stock's moving around and I'm not able to close my thing. But it's an advanced strategy. If I did have to hedge for whatever reason, I would just have to do it with stock. But if Home Depot closes here, that'll be in the weekend letter as a directional long. Looks fantastic. All right, what did I get filled on? GME, I got filled at 45. I did even price improvement. All right, so I did the GME put spread.